Hello, online Math D students. I'd like to go through the welcome letter with you and just point out a few things. It's a lot of reading, so hopefully you will take the time to read it, but I just wanted to hit the highlights to make sure that you've also heard the information. So it's a fast course. In the summer, we go twice the speed of a regular semester. So if you were on ground, you would be going to class 2 hours a day, 4 days a week, and then also being expected to do 16 hours of homework. So if you add that all up, wow, that's 24 hours of math each week. So if you don't have at least 24 hours in your time budget each week for this class, you may really want to think hard about whether this summer course is going to work for you. So this means you need a plan to spend at least 3 to 4 hours every day or 5 hours each weekday if you want to have the weekends off. So please consider that and look at your schedule and see if that's going to work for you. If you want to add the class, I'm asking you to send me an email to make sure that you are still interested. Sometimes people wait list on several classes and they aren't any more interested in the class. So if you are interested in adding, I'd like you to send me an email on Sunday the 10th, but I won't actually have the ad codes until Monday the 11th. I will send ad codes in the order of the wait list. It needs to be used within 48 hours or it becomes invalid and I'll give your spot to somebody else because these online classes are pretty popular in the summer. So if you're enrolled in the class, I have a list of things I want you to do before Tuesday the 19th to stay in the class. This is just my way of checking that you really do want to be enrolled and you've started and finding the workload doable and you want to stay in the class. So if you don't do all the things on the checklist, then it's going to look to me like you aren't interested in participating in the class, and I'm responsible for dropping people who aren't participating. So if you haven't done all of the things on the checklist by Tuesday the 19th, I will be dropping you from the class, but know that you can be reinstated. You just have to contact me and there's a little bit of running around you have to do. So all of my deadlines are 11:59 Pacific Daylight Time. I'm going to be in different time zones for part of the class, but those will be the consistent deadlines for everything in my math lab and in Canvas. So here's the checklist. Please notice that it has 9 things on it and make sure you get all 9 things accomplished. So the first thing you need to do is purchase your access to the course. You can either go to the campus bookstore, and if you do, then what I've recommended is that you get a bundle, it's called. So bundled, a loose leaf version of the book and the access to my math lab. It's your choice to go online to the Pearson website and just buy access to the software. There is a digital copy of the textbook in the software, but many students tell me it's really hard to work out of the digital textbook and they really find that they like having the paperback book. The paper copy of the text is only about $20 more than the cost of the access for the software. The largest amount is for the access to the software. So you have to have access. If something changes in the first 2 weeks and you've changed your mind, you can get a refund from the Pearson company, but not from the bookstore. If you don't have money to pay for the software right away, there's an option for 14 days of free temporary access. Please get started on day 1 or earlier, regardless of whether you have the money to pay for the software access right away. So this option is at the bottom of the registration screen where they ask you for payment, so you might have to scroll down to find it. If you've used my math lab before, you already have an account. And please use the same username and password. It helps them keep track of you, especially if you've used my math lab for my Math D in the past and you're using it again. You have to use the same username and password in order to not have to pay for the course again. So the course ID you need, I've put it in several different places. This is one of the places. It's Hill 81468. So that's the number you're going to need when you go to my math lab to identify the class that you're enrolling in. This enrolls you in the My Math Lab software through the textbook publisher. It doesn't enroll you in the Sierra College course. You have to be enrolled in 2 places, Sierra College and the My Math Lab software. And there's a separate My Math Lab instructions sheet that I've also attached to the email I sent to you, and it's available in Canvas and My Math Lab. If you're registering for the first time, please type carefully. It's practically impossible to change if you misspell your name, and that's the name I keep seeing every time I go into my math lab. So then I have to keep remembering that it's different than that. So please capitalize your first name first letter and your last name first letter, and this has to do with how it alphabetizes on my side. So if you could do that, that would be a big help. So use an email address in your profile that you check regularly. I send lots and lots and lots of emails, and I have to assume that you're reading them. I don't have any way of telling. So if you do use your Sierra College student email, make sure you have the word student in there. So that's the most common thing students forget. They just put their name at Sierra College, and that only works for staff. So then I want you to complete at least 70% of each section of homework in chapters 1 and 2, which should be mostly review material. So you should be able to get through that pretty quickly, and this will give you a good sense of whether or not the speed of the course is going to work for you. So I'm wanting you to get started right away and dig in and make sure that this speed is going to work for you. So then I'm going to ask you to take quiz 1 in my math lab and score at least 70%, and take quiz 2 and score at least 70%. This isn't a hard requirement. This is just for you to help decide if you really are prepared to do this class successfully in this summer format. So quiz 1 is on review material. That's the sections 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3 that we're not going to cover. And then quiz 2 is on newer material. So there's a discussion board in my math lab. If you watch my math lab intro video, you'll see it there on button number 8. And please introduce yourself to the class and get that taken care of. And then there are homework assignments that say, have you posted to the discussion board yet? That are just there to remind you to post to the discussion board. So I also would like you to send me an email to give me some information. I want your full name as it is on your My Sierra account, because sometimes people's names in my math lab and on my roster are different, and I really need to know who you are so I can connect those two names, especially if you have a married name and an unmarried name. So I want you to show me a list of the different kinds of learning aids that are available, because I want to make sure you know where they are and what they are. So I'm going to ask you to click on button number 3 in my math lab. Select Chapter 1, Section 1.1, and click Select All and Find Now, and tell me what are all the different kinds of learning help that are available in my math lab. Then I'd really appreciate a short autobiography of your math experience, a couple of sentences or anything that you want to share. It can help me when I'm working with you to just know what your math history is. So I'm really looking forward to working with you. Here is my home phone number, and I really don't mind if you call my home phone, but know that I never answer it. I just use it to take messages. It's much better if you email me, and I have my college email, and then I have a Gmail account that I use exclusively for my online courses. I also have a Skype account if you would like to Skype, and then I'm also learning how to do Zoom meetings so that we can talk to each other, and we can have a little virtual whiteboard that we write on and go back and forth and help solve problems. So I'm really looking forward to working with you. I love using technology to help students learn, and let's get this done so that you can move on in your math life.